My name's David Mason, and I'm the librettist for Tom Ciuppullo's new opera, The Parting. I came up with the story for The Parting when I thought about the life of the great Hungarian poet Miklós Radnóti. Radnóti, who lived from 1909 to 1944, is considered one of the greatest modern Hungarian poets and also a great witness to the Holocaust. Radnóti was 3 times sent to work camps, and on the 3rd time he was part of a group of exhausted prisoners who were summarily executed and dumped into a mass grave. Now, this is a very dark story to use as the basis for an opera, but I was intrigued by one particular thing about it, and that is that when Radnóti's body was exhumed about a year later, and his widow was able to witness what had been brought out of the grave, they discovered a notebook that had been in Radnóti's overcoat, and in the notebook were some of the most powerful poems Radnóti wrote of witness to the war and to the Holocaust. In other words, out of the grave, out of the mass grave, came songs or came poetry. I began to think of this idea of songs from a dead man's coat, and I began to think about the ways in which, even in the darkest historical moments, there can be acts of transcendence, creations of beauty. And that's really the dilemma or the problem of the artist, even in ordinary life. All artists have, in some sense, a relationship to death, to their own death, whether they're facing it immediately or whether they're living in ordinary time and trying to create works of art, because works of art imply a life beyond the grave or after death. Something survives even in the darkest times. Now, there's a moment, a key moment in the opera that I want to underline, and that's the moment when Mick asks a sort of angel of death, "Why do I live?" And the angel of death says to him, "To learn how to love, to make beautiful things, to die." That's a key moment in the libretto, and it seems to me that it's a sort of keystone statement for my life as an artist and our lives as creative people.